Side Hustle Saturday, Side Hustle Saturday. Ooh, it's Saturday. Ooh, it's Saturday. It's Side Hustle Saturday. All right, what's up out there to all of my fellow gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self-proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger, then welcome back. Y'all know I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. And it is time for Side Hustle Saturday. Yes, I would typically go live and do Side Hustle Saturday, but I just couldn't do that this go around. So I said I could at least give you guys a recorded video because I was supposed to be doing a part 2 of Pricing Like a Pro from last week, okay? So you're getting a recorded video and you're probably going to be seeing this actually on Sunday. So it's Side Hustle Saturday / Sunday. Either way, we're going to get into it. If you have not already checked out last Side Hustle Saturday's video talking about pricing like a pro, then definitely check it out and get those tips that I shared there. But we are going to conclude on today with, I have 5 additional tips for you guys, okay? So, of how you can price like a pro. And this is for small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs to help you out in business. And it is very, very timely given the current state of affairs with our economy and with everything that's going on with price increases that are going to arise due to tariffs and things of that nature. So pricing is definitely going to be top of mind, and we need to be sensitive not only from the consumer's perspective as a business owner, entrepreneur. You need to be sensitive from the consumer's perspective, but also from your business perspective to make sure you can stay in business and that you sustain your business and that your business is profitable, okay? I think new entrepreneurs, new business owners, solopreneurs, sometimes we forget that you're supposed to be profitable in your business. Like, you're not just supposed to break even. You're actually supposed to make some profit. That means some extra, okay? That's what these businesses do. Now, some of them might take it to the extreme, but yes, you are supposed to have a profit, which means above and beyond your regular expenses is what the business should be generating, okay? So, pricing like a pro, we're going to continue that. Hold on, y'all. Before we get into it, I do have a couple of church announcements. So, I announced the book club release. So if you haven't checked out that video, then please do so, okay? Because I want y'all to join with me in this book club series, because I will be posting some thought-provoking questions to stimulate conversation about the book on my Instagram page, which is Gold Digger Chick. So make sure you're following me there so you can see the questions, and I will be starting that next week, or this coming week, I should say. So I'll be starting that this week, so be on the lookout for those questions. And so you need to know what the book we are reading, all right? Also, our No Spin Challenge starts on April the 13th, so Sunday, April 13th. That is when the No Spin Challenge will start, where we are trying not to spend any money for the whole week. The whole week. All right? We are trying not to spend any money for the whole week. So, let's see. And if you are not familiar with the No Spin Challenge, I did talk about it on Tipsy Tuesday. So, check out that last Tipsy Tuesday video where I go into more detail about the No Spin Challenge so you can structure and get your week set up appropriately, okay? All right, now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the 5 tips I have for you for pricing like a pro, okay? And Side Hustle Saturday, I always say, y'all know me from my side hustles. My main side hustles are mystery shopping and notary work, but the tips that I'm about to give to you, they can be applied to any type of small business that you may be running yourself, okay? So don't think it's just going to be directed toward those 2 particular industries. No, these tips, they are transcendent. They can be applied to any business concept, okay, when it comes to pricing. All right, so We talked about this a little bit in the last video, but I am going to go into it a little bit even more in depth. Okay, so the the first tip I have for you today is I want, when it comes to pricing or pricing your product or your service, is I want you to consider your target customer. And we talked about that a little bit last week because I told you you need to consider your target market, like the area you want to market to. And when you're considering that area, you need to think about who are the people who are in this particular area, which is actually your client or your customer. So don't just market to one particular area, or if you're in a certain area, don't just market there. Or if you do, you need to say, hey, this is the area in which I live and where I want to set up my business. What type of customer is in this particular demographic? And is my ideal customer, client, consumer in this particular demographic? And if they are, where do they hang out? Where could I find them? What kind of lifestyle do they live? Because as you can see, in towns across the country, in cities and towns across the country, there is a diverse group of people that live in there. And so you need to find out where your target client, where your target audience is. Where do they hang out within your vicinity, within your region, wherever you're deciding to target. Okay, so if you're like, hey, I'm limited, I have a brick and mortar store, I'm limited by the people I can service, or even if you have an online business or a service-based business or something like that, you still need to find out where your target customer is. And what do they look like? Like, create a target customer avatar. Like, what would this person look like? How would they dress? What kind of car would they drive? What are their ideals that you would think they would have based off of the product or service that you are providing for them, okay? So you have to get in that mindset, starting to think like your ideal, or trying to think like your ideal client or customer. Like, what would they want? What would they need? What is the problem that I'm solving for them, okay? So ideally, essentially, as entrepreneurs, business owners, the thing that we're doing when we provide our product or our service is essentially we're just solving a problem that our ideal client or customer has. So you need to decide, what problem am I solving? So let's just take, for instance, if you have a car wash business, what problem are you solving? You're solving the problem of someone who has a dirty car. But even with that, there are different levels to that. Like, who do you want to market to? Do you want to market to the everyday person who's driving a car, who just needs, a car wash every week or so, or every couple of weeks, I should say? Or are you trying to make sure your car wash is tailored to a high-end client where they are very, very sensitive and careful with who touches their car, how their car is cleaned, how their car is washed? Because if so, if you just have if you're just trying to market to everyday people who just want a car wash every couple of weeks or something, not saying you can't reach the higher tier clientele, but they are going to be very particular about who is cleaning their car and how their car is being cleaned, okay? So you have to know, who am I trying to reach? What would this person look like? What are they expecting from my service or from my product? That kind of thing. So just like if it's a car wash, if you're trying to do like a high-end car wash or target high-end vehicles, they are going to have a different expectation than someone who is just driving a regular, I always say Toyota Corolla, just because it's like an average car. If you're driving a regular Toyota Corolla, okay? So keep that in mind. Who is your target customer? And you must be able to identify that when it comes to pricing. Because if you are pricing your product, if you're trying to attract a high-end, using the car wash analogy, if you're trying to attract a high-end client, with your car wash service, and you are charging a low price, they are probably going to be skeptical of you dealing with their car. They're probably not going to want you to deal with their car because they know typically when they get their car washed, or if the level of detail that they want, they need a more expensive car wash. So immediately they would be discounting you, not even considering you because of your price. Or vice versa, if you are trying to target the everyday driver, everyday consumer, who just has like a regular car, and you price too high, they're gonna be like, we don't need all that. I don't need all of that, or whatever. So they would discount you too, or just not even consider you because your price is too high for the service or the level of service that you're trying to provide, or the level of client, or the type of client, I should say, the type of client that you are trying to attract. Okay, so just be mindful of that. All right. All right, so moving on. The second thing that you want to consider when pricing your products is, do you have a seasonal product? And if you don't have a seasonal product, you also want to see what seasonal promotions can you provide or offer your client, okay? So if it is a seasonal product, just like using the car wash analogy, people do get their car wash more, all throughout the year, but it's probably going to increase during the warmer months when we are going out and trying to I won't say show off, but we are trying to show off. Or like if you're in the South like me with the pollen season, that pollen is just like yellow dust all over the car and stuff like that. So you're probably going to see a increase or a pickup in your business around certain times using this car wash analogy. So is your business seasonal, or does it have peak seasons where things are more popular? And if so, you need to price appropriately to try to attract those clients. Now, if your business is not seasonal, what you can do is go with the seasons. And what I mean by that is when you go with the seasons, you can offer promotions. And let's say, all right, spring is coming. You can offer some spring type promotion, or Christmas, you can offer a Christmas discount. So you can offer promotions based off the seasons or based off the holidays that are coinciding or that are happening throughout the year if you don't have a seasonal product. And what this does, if you don't have a seasonal product, it helps reinvigorate your product or your service, helps to get more interest in your product or your service, because people might have forgotten about it because it's something that they use, I won't say all the time or periodically, or they just need it a few times out of the year or something. So you can say, hey, we have this spring sale going on. Check out our product or check out our service, or we're offering this spring discount or spring special or spring promotion or whatever it is. So you can do those kinds of things to help attract your ideal client and customer, or drum up business as well. But just be careful with that when it comes to pricing for that, because if you do have a seasonal business, so please hear me on this, if you have a seasonal business where there is a peak season, then you can charge higher for your product or service during that time. Just like if you want to go to the beach, okay, the warmer months, the price to get a hotel or something at the beach is going to be higher than if you're getting a hotel in the winter months when people are not going to the beach, okay? So if you do have a seasonal product, you want to price appropriately, and you very likely can price higher when your product is in peak season. Now, this is what I want you to hear me on. If you do not have a seasonal product, if you are trying to attract people through seasonal promotions or holiday promotions, you would have to offer a discount. And I need an asterisk by that discount, a discount or a special, in order to help attract people, okay? So for people who don't have seasonal products, this is not the time for you to increase your price to attract seasonal people. This is your time to offer promotions or specials, or try and flush out products that are old during the seasonal special, okay? So please hear me on that. If you have a seasonal product, a lot of times you are able to charge higher for your seasonal product during peak seasons. But if you do not have a seasonal product, you can still attract clients and customers throughout various seasons, but you do need to price strategically or offer promotions or small discounts. Okay. All right. Moving on to the third thing. The third thing I have is, and it kind of goes hand in hand. Y'all, I have talked about this before, more so when I was talking about my notary business when it comes to weddings. But I think I've talked about it too before in general, is you want to create packages or pricing bundles if possible. Whether you have a product, whether you have a service. If you have a service, see what additional services you can add on and put it all together in like some kind of special package or special bundle. If you have products, see whatever you're offering, see what other products you can that are appropriate to add into a bundle or a package deal for your consumer and customer. And I always say this is done all the time with us. It's like when you go to a fast food restaurant, chances are you don't just order a sandwich. I mean, you might, but chances are you don't order a sandwich or a burger or, or whatever. Usually we're ordering a combination, because they have it all packaged together, and it's like, hey, if you just get the sandwich, it's going to be $7. But for $2 more, you get the sandwich, fries, and a drink. Okay, so you want to consider doing that when it comes to your products or your services, seeing what kind of promotional bundles or promotional packages you can create to offer to your clients. All right. Now, when you do this, you do have to be strategic with this. And like I said, I did another video about this. I might do another one where we go more in depth with this when it comes to creating packages, because I don't have time to get into it today. When you do this, when you create a pricing package or a bundle of goods or services, make sure you do not overcomplicate these different tiers. Okay. Make sure you don't have like a whole bunch of choices, like 8 to 10 different bundles, because that gets to be really confusing for your customer or your client. You should, especially if you're a small business, you should only have maybe 2 to 3 different pricing bundles or packages together. Okay. And with that being said, you should have only, with those packages, you should have just a few different prices as well. So you don't want to make it too complicated when you do start packaging everything together. You want, a package is supposed to be a no-brainer. It's supposed to be something they don't have to think about, that they'll easily want to buy. Just like at the restaurants where they have the sandwich at one price, and then you can easily look and see, oh, the sandwich is $7, but if I get fries and a drink, it's only $9. So it's like it's only a $2 lift. It's only a $2 difference. Okay, you don't want your pricing packages to be so complicated where they're doing the math and adding everything up and be like, am I really saving money? You want it to be so simple, so seamless, that it's easy for them to go ahead and get into your package or your bundle. Okay. All right. Moving on. The fourth thing I have is, we talked about this at the beginning of the video. You want to price to be profitable. Okay. Price to be profitable, not just to make sales. Because that's sometimes people, I see this sometimes with new entrepreneurs, new business owners. They're like, oh yeah, I made a sale. I did this. I sold this. I sold a whole bunch of products. But they are so excited about making a sale that they don't realize that they're losing money. So it's like they drop the price down so low for the person to get them to buy that they're actually losing out. So please remember that you are pricing your products to make money. Like, you are pricing them to make a profit. And just like I talked about at the top of the video, like, we are in business to make profit. We are not just in business to cover our base expenses. Like, we're not just here to cover the price of the product, paying our employees. We're here to make money. All right. We're here to make money. All right. And if you work for a company, like if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, but you also have a regular job and you work somewhere, guess what? Even though they pay you a salary or they pay you hourly or whatever, they are paying you that rate, but the company is still likely making money. Like, they're not going to pay you that rate if they can't make money. Okay? So I think when we are so used to being employees, we are surprised that, oh, you know what? The company, they make X amount of money. They could be paying me more. Yes, possibly they could. But when they pay you more, it cuts into their profit margins, okay? Unless they have exorbitant or excessive profit margins, the business is there to make money, all right? I mean, they can't pay you everything they bring in, or they can't be like, oh, they can pay us more. I hear that all the time from people. And when you're not a business owner, I guess you don't understand that, yes, there are extra funds available, but that's our profit to help sustain our business, to help our business grow. We can't just pay everything out just to cover all the expenses, okay? So you have to remember that as well. You are in business to make a profit, not just to cover your base expenses, your base time, or anything like that. You want to make a little bit of extra in order for your business to sustain, okay? All right, so remember that we have to shift our mindset a little bit. We are here to make a profit, all right? We are not just here to survive. We are here to thrive and make a profit, okay? So I talked about that too a little bit in the last video when it comes to like making sure you're pricing appropriately. You're here to make a profit, so remember that. All right, so that was number 4. And the last thing I have for you is you want to make sure you evaluate your pricing regularly, okay? You need to check in on a everyday basis, a regular basis to see, am I still profitable? That's why I say you're here to make a profit. Because if you have a product or a service, but more specifically with products, if that price of the product is going up, which is probably going to go up, given the state of affairs with these tariffs and stuff like that, if your product that you're purchasing or making for someone or whatever, if that goes up, like your acquisition cost, how much it costs for you to get that product, if that goes up, then you're going to have to increase your price. So you need to check your pricing regularly to make sure, hey, am I still making a profit? Is it still on trend with what the market allows? So check in, do your research. This is an ongoing thing, okay? Also looking at, what do I need to flush out of my inventory? What can I do to kind of generate more clients or customers or more sales, or things that are just not profitable? You need to see, hey, why is it not profitable? Is it something that people don't want? Or do I have it priced too high? But even with seeing if it's priced too high, you want to make sure you're still making a profit on it, okay? All right, so those are the tips I have. Real quick, I'll do a real quick recap of Pricing Like a Pro Part 2, what you should know. So the first thing I suggested to you was you want to know who your target or your ideal client or customer is. Number 2, you want to factor in, is your product seasonal? And if not, also, are there seasonal promotions that you can offer? Number 3 was create pricing packages or product or service packages or bundles, but don't overcomplicate them. Number 4 was, remember to price for profitability and not just sales volumes, okay? We trying to make a profit out here. And number 5 was, you need to reevaluate your pricing regularly, okay? So those are your tips that you have. Let me know in the comment section which one resonated with you the most. Which ones are you going to focus on this quarter in your business? And also remember the No Spend Challenge. It starts April 13th, where we are going all the way for 1 week, trying not to spend money on anything that is not a necessity, like our mortgage, our utilities, that kind of stuff. We are trying to have a whole no spend week. All right, until next time, you guys, take care.